that I liken them to just being this well-oiled machine. They have like a hive mind in the sense that like the decisions are made, everybody goes. There's no second guessing one another. There's no one guy getting out of position and is like calling for help. It's like, no, we're gonna be patient and we're gonna attack when we need to. But of course, this is gonna be the first match of the day. Game 1, LGD versus Loops. Who do you like in terms of draft?
I would obviously have to go for LGD. Any team that has the Argon is looking really good, and we do have the first blood. Hong actually makes it work with the Mai, and this is a disastrous start for the side of Loops.
Rough. And you talked about it earlier about the fact that LGD are going to be aggressive, right? Turning that first blood into what is looking to be a jungle invade. I mean, the red buff is still open if they want to go for it, but that might be a little too aggressive. Now LP Loops, on the other hand, have to react. They have to defend this and try to save what they can in their jungle.
Yep, exactly. And LGD in a much stronger position simply because now you can kind of choose who you want to funnel this farm into, right? You give it to Mai, Zihong is going to have the time of his life. That's an opening for him. He can get the solo kills. He can even knock up so many different people at one time on the side of Loops. On the other hand, they could, filter and funnel this farm into the hands of JR and, exponentially grow the damage that JR is able to deal.
Yeah, they definitely can grow here. Loops trying to go for the steal, and it looks like the list step away will keep him alive, JR that is, and take minimal. But ABH is going to go for the flank, does get to do a little bit of damage. He's under the tower. He's been pulled back with the whatever, and Tempest will get that kill.
So Loops strike back. It's 1-to-1 now. Really like this pacing from Loops. They are able to match with LGD at this point.
Yeah, you just got to go blow for blow. You got to get yourself in there. You cannot play scared. You need to understand that, hey, LGD might be this giant, but right now, it's even. It's 1-1. Let's go.
Yep, Musan King, of course, going for the tankier build, as we know that he needs to sustain so the rest of the team will be able to lay down some pain on the side of Loops as well.
Yeah, look at how Jeong is actually just kind of invading, stealing those boars, making his way back into the jungle. Well, Kank has to deal with that minion wave, and he does get the knock up. He's been pushed back, and Kank taking most of that damage, and it looks like Zihong will back off now.
Yep, and that's the difficulty, right? Yes, Princess Frost is great. AoE with the Winter is here, but it's really hard in 1v1 situation because the Frigid Prison requires a lot of precise aiming, and you need to account for the delay as well.
Yeah, you need that setup, and I mean, you need that combination. Just by yourself, no one is going to sit into that blizzard. But Busan King going on the flank, it looks like he's going to get it. He does get the knock-up, and Kank is going to go down, and they've also got Jihong in return, but Tempest will take that one, but Busan King gets yet another kill in ABH.
LGD put themselves ahead now, 3-2, easy kills in the mid. It's not looking like a good game at all for Kanka.
But a little bit of a misplay in the bottom lane. It looks like JR has been picked off. Jerry will happily take that one, and Jerry again. He's kind of that farm laner. I mean, he's that carry that really needs it. He kind of puts the team on his back. He does a very good job of controlling the game, and getting that kill is going to really help him in that bottom lane.
Yep, Jerry here, I think I really like the fact that this Lady Sun has some kills. It's a positive KDA for him at this point. And that's what Loops need, right? They need every single advantage that they can get at this point.
Yeah, any sort of advantage. I mean, they're down about 1K. They're trying to figure out some ways to kind of invade the enemy jungle. LGD have done a great job of controlling the map, stealing what they can, understanding where the positioning of the Loops players are so that they can take essentially free minions.
Yep, and if you take a look at Mithy's positioning, this is the reason why the Dolia is picked, right? With the passive, she's able to regen as well and give vision in the riverbeds, so there is a lot of safety provided just by the existence of Mithy.
Okay, but who is your Celestial Melody hero of choice? Who is that partner duo that you want to be going that's going to get the most value out of that Celestial Melody?
For me, personally, I would go with Kanka. A double Winter is here is perfect. And Xiang here getting caught on, but it's just a bait because at this point, Musan King will be able to secure the first time of the game. LGD hitting the timings that they require.
Oh, okay. All right. The Winter is here. You're going to say that with the Celestial Melody. 2 Winters in a row sounds disastrous and too cold for my blood, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not exactly freezing at this point because the heat is going to be turned up. It could be a potential gank onto Mithy here. Face checking the bush.
Oh no, walking into that one, but no conversion. LGD did, go in that one. They were looking to go for this one, and LGD, usually when they gank, they usually convert quite highly, right? They tend to just have that success, and then it kind of snowballs from there, but not being able to capitalize, and it's a little bit of an issue for LGD here as they kind of wasted that time.
I mean, LGD, they're just prime examples of what is class, right? Their coach has a master's degree. They seem to have a doctor's degree in whatever they're doing. It's because they're putting up a clinic so far in the tournament as well.
Okay, in the top lane now, Xiang just kind of dueling with Tempest. He did have his buddy, and Musang King still up in front. You know, again, what point is Musang King, this Augurin, just like enough? I mean, he's already got a 1K net worth lead. You're seeing that sizable difference. He's got a level difference as well. I mean, at what point are you like, hey, Musang King, let's just go and just start killing everybody?
For me, it would be the Eye of Phoenix, right? Right now, he's building towards that Blazing Cape. Now, with the Eye of Phoenix, he will have extra heals as well, and then he will be monstrous. Now, he just only has the Patrol X at this point, but once he completes that full itemization, the Giant's Grip, I mean, that is a death grip on the side of LGD.
But Xiang goes in for this one. Oh, the flash away. Sherry will stay alive, but again, cooldowns have been expended for this one. Jay will back off. Musang King still waiting in the wings. He does have the Cannon Blast that did connect, and he's going to go for this one. No, he's going to back off. Musang King playing it safe, seeing that there were 3 members, but it was just a bait as they go to the backside. They get the knock up, and Sherry is down. That's most of the damage. They've got Mithy as well. It's a double kill going the way of Musang King, and Shihong will also take out Kank.
LGD, this is the game they're looking for. One more for the books. Tempest will not make it out. JR will be taken away as well.
Oh, what a disaster. Loops here. 4 members down already. LGD finding gaps. Can they convert this into structural damage in terms of this T1? That would be massive at the 6-minute mark.
Yep, 6.5 minutes. It's pretty much still in the early game. But so far, the jungle on the side of Loops have been home to LGD talents.
Yeah, they need that. I mean, again, Loops was kind of playing a little bit slower, but I mean, with that kill, that gank attempt, I mean, you're seeing that net worth lead just completely shift in favor of LGD.
Yep, it's not going to change too much until the Venomous Staff is going to be built up onto Kanka. He also needs the Mask of Agony to deal with that impending wall of HP offered by the side of LGD.
Yeah, and if we're looking at the level differential, I mean, if we're looking at Musang King definitely has that advantage. Xiong is up as well against Kank. This is looking to be rough. Loops now, you're behind. It's about 3K. This is something that you can come back from, but where are the gaps? What do you do?
I think at this point, ABH, he just needs to make sure he's at least, at most, 1 level behind, right? We know LGD is going to lead. It's really about the late game. This is what the Lady Sun is for anyway, right? Kanka will be able to tank with the passive as well. Once he breaks that shield, he will be able to slow LGD down. Hopefully, they can capitalize off of that.
Yeah, but Musang King has been following ABH around, literally stealing the farm right in front of ABH. He hasn't been able to get much. So he's like literally, you know, finding all the scraps that he can get, any sort of farm to get himself back in this game, but he is so far behind Musang King at this point.
Yep, 1 level, it's going to get worse because finally the first Overlord is going to be taken away, and this could be special for the side of LGD.
Yeah, and this is that kill. Break us down.
Yeah, Mithy here, you know, they're expecting to use the Wave Breaker to provide the heals to kind of mitigate the soul resonance offered by Augurin, right? But at this point, it looks like they've caught in 1 straggler.
Okay, Musang King looks to have gone down. I mean, they're going to continue on, and Jay is looking for this one, and actually that's a big win for them. They did trade Tempest, but Musang King going down is actually going to be pretty huge for them.
Yeah, right now it's about limiting the damage that they receive, at least on the structural end, right? They're going to lose a couple of tier 2s, but at this point, ABH manages to stifle the growth. He takes away the blue buff. So Musang King's not going to be in a very comfortable position. Still good, just not as comfortable.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's going to get them back in this game. But Musang King, what? 4-1-2, the most kills thus far. Obviously, his presence has been felt, but dying there might slow things down. I don't know if it completely shifts the favor into Loops' favor, but nonetheless, I think that this is still a good position for Loops. They need to figure out other ways to kind of maybe get more pickoffs here.
Yeah, single target pickups will be beneficial for the side of Loops. And it looks like it's another steal. Zihong just making so much difficulty for the life on the side of Loops.
Yeah, and ABH kind of wasn't, the smite was on cooldown, nowhere real way to kind of get close to that Tyrant. It was one of those things where you don't want to maybe take that play, especially when, you know, again, the cooldown is still off.
Okay, but if you take a look at Sherry here, he's actually almost done with the Eternity Blade. Maybe not matching up the timing of JR, who has just gotten dead, right? But it is a lifeline for the side of Loops.
Yeah, and you need that, right? Any sort of damage you can do, but it looks like, okay, if we're going to go for pickoffs, Loops, who do they need to prioritize? Is it just Musang King?
I would expect that actually, let's get rid of the support, right? The thing inside the box is going to be quite detrimental because of the stuns as well.
Oh, Tempest goes in, gets serious on that one. But the Tyrant here, that's going to be started by JR. It looks like they've completely zoned them away. ABH is waiting in the wings. He's in stealth. He's going to go for the steal. And no, Musan King will take out that Tyrant, and they're going to make ABH pay for that one.
Yeah, LGD just too strong at this point. 5,000 gold ahead. Can they close this game out? They need to close it fast, though.
Yeah, they need to close it fast. I mean, look at JR still farming, still having that free space, pushing off that bottom lane. It looks like that bottom T2 is going to be the next objective for LGD. They are starting to knock on that door. Loops right now losing a lot of map space at this point.
Yeah, Zeri actually keeping close with JR in terms of gold accumulation. So that's a good sign. But LGD, they want to start knocking on the door already.
Yeah, they're going to force this one. They're going to push a little bit of pressure. They did some chip damage. They've taken that and they've backed up. Very smart play by LGD. Look to maybe take the next one as they have this AK net worth lead here.
Yep, they're probably going to give away this Overlord at this point. And for the first time in this game, it's going to be a honest, fair and square fight because everyone's common spells are up. Everyone's support items are up as well. If we take a look at itemization, maybe not as equal. But hey, you make do with what you have on the side of Loops.
Are you saying that all of the other fights that we have not been fair?
No, they have been in positions where they don't have access to a couple of skills, couple of common spells as well. So, you know, LGD very famously takes advantage of any kind of mistakes you make.
Yeah. And actually, that's why LGD is so good. They understand the cooldowns, and they're going to force the issue. They're going to force them back. JR going in for this list step. He might have stepped in too deep. No, he does get the kill, and kick is down, but JR does fall. ABH will fall as well, and they do have a little bit of a window here as LGD are starting to knock on those T3s.
Yep. Until Zeri dies, it is still okay for Loops at this point.
It's still there. They do have the minions. The last one's going to go down. Tempest will clear that one out, but they've taken the mid T3. The base is now wide open. And one last cannon blast just to kind of put a little salt on that wound.
Yeah, for now, 11-5, 12 minutes. This game is looking a little bit more difficult for Loops.
Oh, the nice two-man knock-up. And they're going to go for this one. The base, Mithy, he's going to be focused. He goes down. Sherry's down as well, and that's all your damage. And with 4 members down, they're going to take the base, and LGD do this in style.
Yep, game 1 goes into the hands of LGD. Rightly so, with the lead they have acquired for themselves. This puts them in an advantageous position going up against Loops.
Yeah, and look at LGD right now. They're like a bunch of robots. Nobody's celebrating. Everybody's like, this is business as usual. This is what we expected, and we just put the smackdown on you. They had 13-5. That's exactly the type of game you want, especially starting off the knockout stage here.
Exactly. Now let's go back to the studio and take a look at what they think.
Congratulations to LGD Gaming on that first victory of this BO3. That's gonna put them one step into the semifinals. Can they make the second step?
One step closer to semis, and I feel like Loops in the end couldn't take the step that they needed. I feel like in that game, I was talking about just briefly when we was talking about our predictions that I feel like ABH needs to be on a carry. That Prince of Landling coming in, which is a very unique pick, hasn't been picked that much in this tournament, but they just never got the ball rolling. LGD just right from the get-go at level 1, getting that early first bloods.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the 11-minute mark, they were 8k gold ahead, and yes, they managed to focus those 2 side lanes, but then there was no more domination of that map overall, which is what I was saying in my introduction, was they need to like get the priority of that map. But LGD being so aggressive, just not giving them the map.
It might not get the spotlight a lot, but it was my Shiranui, those rotations, the ones that just created that numerical advantage that LGD Gaming actually needed, no?
Absolutely. I mean, they had a aggressive mid lane and going against the Princess Frost, which is great in those team fights, but we never really got those massive team fights. Every so often in the sides of the jungles, we maybe got it, but never for these neutral objectives.
No, I feel like in the end as well, if we go back to kind of the picks and the bans as well, you know, Loops going for that Dolia first pick, I feel like on this team for Loops, there's not really a lot of ultimates that you kind of want to reset with that Dolia. I mean, outside of the ultimate, she is still a very good hero with all of her sustain, but what ultimate do you want to reset?
It was more like a meta pick instead of like a comp pick, right? Yeah, it's just like, okay, this is meta, I must have it, but I still don't know exactly how I'm going to build about it.
They could have actually picked the Ali first pick, which, as we know, is Jerry's one of main picks down in that bot lane and has been extremely popular right now. But the thing is, at the moment, it's like there's sort of a meta that's going, and some teams are kind of being trapped in this meta for these picks.
LGD just got the ball rolling so early in the game, and they just stepped on the gas and never actually let go.
They didn't, and I mean, it is probably down to that Dolia first pick, and again, like you were saying there, Isaac, was that it's more of just a meta pick rather than actually going for it in a composition.
Come on, like, we gotta be a little bit more on point in terms of that, because this is just do or die, but like Loops is gonna have just one more opportunity. Let's dissect a little bit just from the highlights, exactly what happened, because that first blood, extremely early in the game.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it all really started at level 1, really, the Mai Shiranui in the mid lane for Shihong, one of his most played picks at the moment in this tournament. Doesn't really get picked that much because it's banned so often, and because that Dolia got first picked, it allowed LGD to pick both the Ali, both the Mai as well, and also got the Orgren. The Musashi, as we mentioned, was banned out. Again, another ban to add to that list of most banned, but overall, just you can see how much the Orgren was just rotating around the map, stealing the jungle camps, and Musang King showing why he's one of the best junglers in this tournament.
And there was no real counter to the Dharma as well, because we've seen throughout the mid-season invitational, when Dharma's being picked up, you see that the farm lane or even the support go for the Purify, so they can actually just get out of there. If they do get knocked into the wall, they have a little bit of a second wind, a bit of an escape out of it. But just as you can see on the mini-map now, there's 2 turrets, 2 LPS, and then over to LGD. They're able to just get straight to the core with the Vanguards as well, and it was just such a chef's kiss.
It was a very one-sided game. It was very one-sided. I believe that Loops did not enter with the right mindset. Like, they might have just the right intention of trying to win, but the strat, I don't believe that it was the best one. What do they need to do differently as we move into our second game? If they lose the next one, that's it. They're gone.
I want to see ABH on Jing. I mean, we know how much this player can perform on Jing, one of his most popular heroes, and also he can just pop off completely. I think it's Prince of Landling, it's an okay carry, you know, I think he can perform pretty well, but you can see at the moment that the tempo in which LDG are playing, they need something to counteract that.
Well, teams from Brazil yesterday just showed us that when you're in doubt, you need to go back to basics. Just go to what you're comfortable with. Maybe not like the meta, right? Like, you just go with what you're comfortable, and I would agree that that Jing pick might be just what they need.
Absolutely, but if you look at obviously the stats and with the Jing as well, that I think is needed is Mithy's always denied that Zhang Fei, which is a great support going into the Jing pick. But here, just looking at the damage from the Orgren, from the Mai Shiranui as well, 62k, 43k, and just as you can see, those always are the big team fight rates as well. So Mai Shiranui was always starting those engages as well as the Mutsu.
Yeah, I think the big thing as well here for Loops is they need to be the one that gets an advantage early on. You saw that this game, if LGD get that little bit of an advantage, they're straight into your jungle. The Mai Shiranui and also the Modzi being able to invade straight into the jungle, steal away the jungle camps from ABH means that it's very difficult for them to come back from that. They already have so much of a gold lead. There was a stat I was talking to you about beforehand about how LGD at the moment have one of the lowest damage dealt to heroes in the entire tournament. It just means that they're able to just take these objectives so well, clear the jungle camps, and get more gold from rather the objectives than actually getting damage onto the heroes.
And I would like to spotlight that, man, a little bit, because we've been talking about, like, okay, the KPL Dream Team has such a gigantic gap with the rest of the world. Understandable. But LGD Gaming, what makes them so different to the rest of the teams that are competing right over here? And I believe that Stuart just made a very valid point. They do not focus on just killing and fighting. They focus on taking resources and start snowballing really early. What's your take on that?
Absolutely. It's all about the macro at the end of the day. If you can get control of the maps, take more objectives than your enemy team, the kills don't matter in the end, because the kills are just a fraction of the gold and what it makes up in that whole pot. Whereas getting the neutral objectives, getting those turrets, but then also shutting down these people who are getting the most kills is going to give a huge gold over to you once you shut them down.
Dude, like, at the end of the day, like 11 minutes, already 8,000 gold lead. There's no coming back from that. Like, unless that you drop the ball yourself, there's nothing that the other team can do. Like, there is no actual answer back to that. We move to the second game. Hopefully, Loops is going to be able just to take things, turn them around. LGD Gaming, I'm certain that they're not going to allow them just to easily just take the dub. Maybe, LGD Gaming is going to seal this first game and it's going to send us straight to the next match. Well, let's wait and see what's going to happen at the Amazon Arena.
And we are back here, LGD, of course, taking game one against Loops, the Brazilian squad. Now, you are the Loops coach in this case. What do you say to this team now?
I say, hang on, don't move too fast, right? Okay, one of the things that I noticed was ABH kept focusing on the Clash lane. I think once you get that first blood, experience-wise, gold-wise, you do have an advantage there. You can leave the lane alone, right? It's time to make your impact somewhere else. Besides stealing buffs, maybe you could help out the farm lane, get the kill back onto Zhihong in the mid lane, even things out for your Princess Frost, right? So it's really about making good trades across the map. They wanted to enforce their will on the Clash lane, and LGD said, hey, you can focus on that part of the map. We're going to take every single thing else.
Yeah, I mean, LGD have seen that time and time again. They're going to leave Xiang on an island, so to speak, and let him just kind of handle himself in that Clash lane. I don't think that that's something that LGD can't already or haven't already dealt with. They know what to do. They understand that, right? But I think it's going to be some way to kind of slow down the Musang King, right? He has just been a menace. The fact that, you know, he starts to get going and then he invades your jungle and now ABH is on the defensive, so to speak.
Well, I do think they managed to slow him down a little bit. They just needed it to be more consistent, right? So I think the idea in mind for Loops was there. It's just the execution was a little bit wonky at times. Okay. So it's something that I think if they recognize, Loops will be able to fix that, right? But of course, we're talking about LGD here. They are a monster team as well. So it will be interesting to see how Loops wants to strategize against the likes of LGD. This time for the second game, because this time there's their life on the line.
Their life on the line. I mean, this is a bad spot to be in, and it's super scary. This is one of those things where when you're going to draft, hey, back is on the wall, this is all in, right? I need my most comfortable hero to play in this one, but it looks like the Musashi and Lady Jean has been quite strong, but is this enough?
I mean, based on the bans coming out from LGD, it might not be enough because the win condition here to protect Zeri isn't really going to be very strong. They took away the Ming. We know that's a staple for Lady Sun, right? You want the heals coming in, you want the extra attack damage, you want the extra attack speed as well. And moreover, once again, similar to what our analysts have said, they're going to ban out the Zhang Fei, one of the favorite heroes on the side of Mythy.
Yeah, he loves that one. And I mean, it's, again, very targeted, right, in terms of what they were doing. Also, the targeted ban with the Arlie on, you know, that he's an Arlie main. So Sherry, again, being affected by that one. So Loops right now, they're being truly tested. The draft, so important going into these games.
Yeah, they have been one-upped at this point. They take away the Dharma, but they give away the Mayin. And, you know, looking at it, it's a Byron, it is a potential Charlotte. These heroes are okay in the Clash lane. But if you give the lead to Mayin Xiang in the Clash lane, he's going to make the world's difference in fights because he has a couple of iframes during the execution of whatever.
Yeah, okay. So I'm also wondering, I mean, the Byron pick here, the Mozu to kind of complement, at least they're hovering over it. Looks like they're going to lock that one in for both of that one. But your thoughts?
It's a tough one once again because LGD, they have a lot of sustain, they have the Wave Breaker, they have the Unending Sorrow, they have the Melody of Peace coming in from Yuhuan. It's going to be a lot of heals. At the same time, that's a lot of space created for JR on this tier and tier.
Yeah, you have a lot of potential, and this is, you know, they like to use, like the Ogrun was kind of up in the path of precipice, just providing a lot of vision, but he can get in and out wherever he wants. They have the E on this one, so you have a lot of ways to kind of provide that vision so that you have that perfect engagement so that you can kind of get that pick off.
Yeah, tough position for Loops to be in, right? One game down, going up against one of the strongest, if not the strongest group team from the side of Group A. So let's see how this works out. LGD looking to close the door, hit the strides, get their place in the semifinals as well.
Yeah, and this is do or die, right, for Loops. They need to figure something out. Okay, now which of the players, aside from the ABH Busan King matchup from Loops, really needs to step up this game?
I think Mythy needs to step up this game, right? You know, the Cannon Blast will do a lot of work, because it gets them to lockdown. It also gets JR to waste his inbuilt Purify.
Okay. The Ocean of Tears doing a lot with the flowing size. Young is going to dash away, and he's going to limp away, that is, and he should be fine, though.
Yeah, we can see a little more confidence coming out from Loops. And I like what I'm seeing here, but LGD, you know they're no slouch. They're going to come back even stronger.
Yeah, and I think Loops need to really take the fight to them. They need to ensure, like, try to change things up, right? You don't want to play into LGD's strategy. You want to kind of dictate the pace of the game. And I feel like Loops haven't really been able to find that yet.
Yep, and, you know, I'm not trying to rain on the parade here, but it's really hard because LGD, they're a team that loves for you to fight into them, right? The kit that they have, there's so much poke. Kachosen coming in from Zhihong. They have Musang King coming in with the huge, even damage from the Unending Sorrow. Xiang can come in at any point in time with the whatever, and Zhe gets the heals down with the Wave Breaker as well.
Yeah, a lot of counterplay as well. And again, the Unending Sorrow is just, you know, it's kind of like bait. But you keep yourself alive, and you need to ensure that you don't overextend. I think positioning is going to be even more key for Loops, ensuring that they take the right fights. But ABH now on the run. He's going to be chased in. He's going to be pushed back, and he's going to go. But he wants to fight this one, but he's going to give up first blood, and Xiang will take that one, and he will walk away.
Yep, the backup comes now, but Loops is a little too late because at this point, now the map is pretty much open, and Tempest might be at risk here 2-on-1.
Yeah, the invade was on point, ensuring that they got the kill, and now they're going to look to convert, right? LGD have been great with that, ensuring that whenever they get kills or some sort of roam, they have the positioning there to ensure that they get it. But Mithy, he's going to actually flash away.
Yep, and that's a flash wasted. And now with 80 seconds on the clock, he's not going to have flash in time unless, you know, LGD delays the taking of the neutral objective, which we know is rarely the case.
Yeah, but Mithy's kind of on the most. He just needs to position himself, ensure that he plays a little bit safer. The flash is not the end of the world. He's not like a melee roamer who has to be in their face and might be out of position a lot easier. So as I say this, Sherry going a little bit careful. He almost gets the pick off onto Jay, but it looks like they're going to back off. Kank now shows himself, but it looks like everything's going to back off.
Yeah, they expanded the ultimate shell, but cooldown's pretty short on that, so they will have it for the next big fight, which is going to be the neutral objective fight at 4 minutes. So 60 seconds, slightly less than that to go. LGD now priming themselves. You can see they want to make sure that they clear off the top lane, make sure that pressure is there, which means Tempest has to be stuck there.
Yeah, no chance. He needs to deal with the minion wave, ensure that it doesn't take any of that damage in that top T1. But now Musang King, level 7, again. We're talking about how he plays and just, I mean, I hate to say jungle diff, but he's always a level up. He's always got more, you know, net worth. He's just, you know, on another level.
Yeah, and you know, to complement that, I like the top process of LGD. A lot of pressure on the top lane. They want to make sure that Tempest is stuck there. So when they actually go for the Tyrant, there is not enough support. But hey, talking about support, they need some at the bot lane.
Yeah, Jay will actually Wave Breaker back to safety. Cannon Blast does connect onto JR. He's going to take a little bit of damage here. He brings back the flowing side, and what's better is sharing is caring here. But they get the nice knockoff. Jiyoung pushing him back. Kank is solo. Mithy's going to get whittled down. He does go down, and JR will take credit for that one.
Yep, and what a beautiful start for the side of LGD. Getting the first blood, getting the first Tyrant of the game. More to come.
Oh, you can't even recall back to safety. No Bush is safe. Xiang is going to take him out. Pushes back Sherry. He has to flash away, but Xiang pushing him as well, but he might have gone too far, and Xiang does go down.
Yeah, but that was a huge outplay there. Sherry doing so much work. He did not die. He gets the goal on the shutdown as well, and this will be a perfect start for the side of LPS.
Yeah, not the perfect one. I would say you want to be a little bit higher, but not the worst. I mean, they're still down in terms of 2K, in terms of their net worth, lead, so to speak. But Tempest, again, good work. You see a lot of the action that's going in the bottom lane. Tempest pushing that top one, ensure that they got that T1.
And this is exactly what Loops needs, right? They need to make sure they get the trades. They didn't do that in game 1. Now it looks like, hey, they are fast learners as well. They will get the punish onto the side of LGD.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if you see LGD pushing in one area, Xiang here gets cannon blasted. He's going to go in for this 1 versus 3. He pushes back. Think inside the box is just going to miss everybody. Mithy trying to flash away. Musang King is going to chase after them, chasing them as well with that mournful tempo. And that terrible music that is coming along, he's going to continue on to get that flank. And Sherry gets pulled back. No, he survives. He's going to go down. There's too many members of LGD. And now Tempest here on the run. The Unending Sorrow, and Tempest will fall as well.
A very strong trade coming in for LGD. Put themselves 5 kills ahead now versus the 2 on the side of Loops. And better than that, they actually get one of the T1 turrets on the bot as well.
Yeah, okay, let's talk a little bit about this mid lane here. That's the biggest differential that I see. 2.9 for Kank, Jihong with 4.1. Mai has been making some roam plays throughout the map. You felt her playing on her, my presence throughout. And now, I mean, they've taken the mid T1 as well. So again, LGD just playing, you know, very, very well here.
Right, so the artist is LGD. Let's paint the picture for you at this point. Zhihong actually has the Insatiable Tomb. Musan King also has the Frostscar Embrace, so they're tanky, they have a bit more sustain, and this is where it's going to start looking a little bit tougher for Loops because they don't exactly have that much damage just yet.
No damage, objectives are being taken by LGD. Add that Overlord to the list of things that LGD are taking away from you. And that net worth lead is starting to grow. It's about 4K at this point, and they've kind of controlled the map. And again, you're almost like suffocating Loops.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the face cams, the LGD players are locked in a very simple one, and Xiang, he is going to be the playmaker in this game.
Yeah, everybody locked in right now. This is do or die, right? All of these series, it's win, continue on, lose, you go home. You don't want that. You need to ensure you put your best foot forward and try your best to get yourself out of this hole that Loops is in right now.
Yep, they might be looking for that one opening. Now, if you notice, they have been looking at, you know, the stats in the game, right? Itemization. There's a clear reason why they do that. LGD know they can fight now.
Oh, Jihong. Oh, they're going to turn this around. The Ocean of Tears, though, just providing a little bit of space. But ABH is being focused, and he's going to be killed. Jihong will get credit. Tempest tried to flash away, not able to do so. He's going to be killed as well. That's 2 down already. And it looks like with all 3 members, or all 5 members from LGD a little bit low, they do need to be careful here. But it looks like they're going to continue pushing on to this top T3.
Yep, this T3 is gone now. This could be the closing moments and maybe one of the fastest timings of the matches so far. But LGD say, hey, you're going to be patient. Let's take other things as well.
Play smart. You know what I mean? You don't need to force anything. Take out all the objectives. This is going to be the last T2 standing. And I mean, this base is wide open for Loops. It is all hands on deck in terms of this defense.
Yep, and you know, at this point, Zhihong is really close to the Savant's Wrath. There's going to be an additional big burst of damage. Mr. JR already has the Lightning Blade, right? So he's going to be able to deal so much damage. Now, besides that, Zhe has already completed that Radiance. He's going to get the slows and the visions as well.
Everything that you would want. Musan King all the way up in the front and can't get it. Whoa, that was very close. Jihong goes in for this one. He gets the snipe and he gets the kill and he gets himself out. No, he does fall, so he does return for that one. But here's the Unending Sorrow turning it around with the Celestial Melody. Not once, but twice. Let's go. And LGD forcing it down in the bottom T3.
Yep, this is just LGD hitting the timings, hitting the strides. This is what we know. The champion team just making life difficult for Loops.
All right, LGD, the only problem that they have is that their minions are too slow. They have to wait for that one to ensure that they get, they get rid of the backdoor protection. They're going to start to whittle down the bottom T3 at this point, but LGD in full control.
Yep, as Loops, what do you do at this point, right? There is too much damage. There's too much sustain coming in from the side of LGD.
I mean, it's tough because you have super minions pushing in the top lane already. The bottom is going to happen as well. It's one of those things where you got to find some sort of farm, but you don't have a lot of time. Things have been locked down by LGD, and they've got full control.
Yep, at this point, LGD. You know, if I didn't know better, I would call them environmentalists because they're so sustainable.
I see what you did there. Excellent. But let's check out this replay here.
All right, so they're going to start off with the Radiance. This flash play by Zhihong, beautiful with the Katosen as well, gets the kill. He's happy to trade his life because there's still the Melody of Peace as well as the Unending Sorrow. So much sustain, so much damage coming at the same time as well. LGD, now they're just waiting for that last opening.
Yeah, last opening. Loops right now, holding hands, singing Kumbaya. All they can do, thoughts and prayers to this team right now as they try to hold. Very difficult situation. They need to deal with the minions that are crashing in. LGD are looking to take a free Tyrant here.
Yep, and the Tyrant specifies one thing and one thing only. Let's fight.
Let's fight. Let's go. And Loops, probably they're looking more pacifist at this point. They're probably like, hey, maybe we don't fight. Maybe you should stop, huh?
Yep, they want a peace bringer coming up from here. Hopefully that's able to help them. That was a preemptive Radiance, I'm not sure why they did that, and that could be the opening that LGD is waiting for.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the minions at the base. Again, wide open. They're going to go for this one. Everybody's running back, but from the backside, nice 4-man stun. But ABH is down already, and they've got more going at it. Gion getting a little bit low, but that base, and they're going to focus the base. One more shot? No! Okay, they finally do get it, and they're going to take game 2.
LGD with the win-ins, they secure their spot in the semi